Stanza 2. Some 20-30 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. "See Betty and Dolly," she would say, "and look how they dressed us for the beach." The poet's mother, after 20 to 30 years, whenever she would look at the photograph, she would laugh. She would get amused whenever she would look at the snapshot, and she would laughingly say, "See Betty and Dolly, look at my cousins." She would say, she here refers to the poet's mother, "and look how they dressed us for the beach." She would look at the picture and she would enjoy a hearty laugh, and she would be very amused, and she would be very happy to recall that memory, and she would say, "See how we were dressed for the beach holiday." The sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter. Now, the pleasant memory once again is intermingled with a little pain. Now the poet says, the sea holiday was her past. For my mother, her sea holiday was her past, a moment of the mother's childhood which could not be relieved. And mine is her laughter. And the poet says that for me now, my mother's laughter is a thing of past. Perhaps now the mother is dead and gone. So the poet says, that is, as for the poet's mother, the sea holiday was a matter of past. For me, my mother's laughter is a matter of past, because the mother is dead now, and that moment cannot be relived again. Both wry with the labored ease of loss. Wry is an intermingling of pain and pleasure. Now the poet says both means both the memories, that is, the poet's mother's memories of her childhood, of that particular sea holiday, and for the poet it will be of her mother's laughter. So both the memories bring pain at the same time pleasure. That is, the memories are very pleasant for some time, and after some time it becomes mingled with pain, because those moments could not be relived again. Now the poet says both the memories are wry with the labored ease of loss. That is, both the memories are an intermixture of pain and pleasure, because both of them have labored, struggled to ease, to accept the loss. That is, the poet's mother, she has struggled or labored to accept the loss of her childhood and youth, and for the poet, she also has labored to ease, that is, to accept the loss of her mother. Now, the literary devices which has been used here is alliteration, that is, the repetition of consonant sound more than once in a line. It is labored loss. Oxymoron, it is a literary device where two apparently contradictory opposite terms appear together. That is, two contradictory terms, they are clubbed together. And the example of oxymoron here is labored ease. That is, labored means full of struggle, ease means something which is easy. Okay, so these two words have been clubbed together to suggest the uncomfortable peace that the poet has made to accept the death of her mother. Stanza 3. Now she has been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived. Now the poet says that now she here refers to the poet's mother. Now the poet says, now she has been dead. My mother has been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived. That is, in the photograph, which is in the first stanza, the description of the photograph, the girl was about 12 years. So the poet says, now it has been 12 years since my mother is dead. Now, in this last stanza, there is a contrast which is drawn, that is the playfulness of childhood with the death. That is, in the first stanza we can see the playful childhood memories of the poet's mother, and this experience has been contrasted with the mother's death. Now the poet says, it has been 12 years almost that my mother is dead and gone. And she says, and of this circumstance, circumstance here refers to the poet's mother's death. And the poet says, and of this circumstance, there is nothing to say at all. I do not want to describe more. I do not want to say more. That is, the grief is too profound. That is, the loss of the poet's mother, the fact that the poet's mother is dead, to accept that loss is a matter of profound grief for the poet. And the poet, who was so very eloquent till now, until this stanza, she has described each and every minute detail in the photograph, but now she is grief stricken. She feels the pain, and she says that of this circumstance of my mother's death, there is nothing to say at all. That is, I do not want to say anything. I am too grief struck to say anything on this topic or on this circumstance. It's silence silences. That is, there are some bitter truth of our life which we have to accept silently, and there are some bitter truth of our life which silences us by its mere shock. So for the poet's mother's death is one such shock, and the poet becomes silent whenever she remembers her mother, and she is grief stricken as she misses her mother very much, and she realizes that those memories which were once pleasant cannot be brought back and cannot be relived once again, and she becomes silent. Now, in this last stanza, the literary devices which are used are repetition. Repetition means repetition of words here. Silence is used 2 times. Personification. Personification is a literary device when a non-living thing is imagined to be a living being. Here, silence is silencing. So, silence is personified here.